Booyakasha, motherfuckers.
Good evening.
Good evening. Welcome to the Matty B Files. www. Why did I say www? MatthewPMBigelow.com for all your streaming needs. We might be on YouTube, or we might not be. I don't know. These cameras are new for me. So you can catch it at Matt Bigelow YouTube channel. And Matt Bigelow, Matty B Files, search that. I always find search is better than actually anything else.
Yeah.
Google knows better. Like sometimes Google is better at finding a page inside of a website than the actual website's search function.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So Matty B Files for all your streaming needs. We're on my website, MatthewPMBigelow.com. We're also on YouTube. And finally, what's the other one? Podbean. I had been focusing most of my advertising through Podbean, but I've disseminated. I'm trying to attract more traffic to my own website, you know? Okay. See how that goes. Yeah. Anyways, it's July 31st, Tuesday evening, and I'm here in Higashi-Shinjuku.
Yep.
For the first time, we're in this strange bar that you can rent, but nobody's here except us.
Yep.
And I'm with Andrew Holtby.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Oh, not bad.
Yeah.
Cheers.
How was your subway ride into the podcast today?
That was a 15-minute walk. But it's a subway ride into work. My office is nearby, so that's always a pain at 8:30 in the morning. Cramped. People elbowing you in the back and
putting their smartphones on your chest and your back. Those things are so gross, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
People put them on urinals. People, eat a big meal, lick their fingers, and then just start touching their phone. People jerk off on them.
I keep mine away from all that as much as possible.
So when somebody puts their phone on me, I just imagine it's like they've put their toothbrush on a napkin, jerked off onto the napkin, put a whole bunch of food that they've just been chewing onto the napkin, and they start rubbing it on my body.
Oh, that's an image. Yeah. I don't know why there isn't some kind of social contract that says, when the train's busy, I know it's inconvenient, but could you just put your phones away?
Or listen to the podcasts.
Yeah, just connect your headphones up, thing in the pocket, and there you go.
Yeah, and then you get more education, less stupid games. But I've been asking about this. The tech company I work at, not a lot of people in Japan listen to podcasts.
Oh,
they still think that podcasts are radio or digital form of radio. I mean, it's not like it's a downloadable radio program.
Okay.
So they don't think about it as like some philosophical context about dicks, you know?
They're just expecting a preamble, a song, more words. Song, more words.
Yeah, I think they just expect it to be like NHK, but on their phone.
Oh, okay.
The Nippon, what's NHK? Nippon Ham Kindergartners. I don't know. The Japanese Broadcasting Corporation. So that's kind of what I've been talking about. Yeah, I talk to these software engineers and AI engineers and people that develop 5G networks, and I'm like, so what about podcasts? So like,
what's that?
No, nothing.
Not interested.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
I find I don't listen to many podcasts, but there's some that are just. It's just interesting to, like saying earlier, just sit on a train, put it on, and the rest of the world can just vanish, and you can listen to a conversation between two people or more.
Yeah.
I've been doing that a lot with like YouTube video podcasts because it's two people talking. You just fold the phone and put it in your pocket.
Yeah, I've been doing that too. I worry about the battery life though. But it's good. So you're here on the podcast for the first time.
Yes.
We know each other a little bit through the Tokyo music scene and photography, offbeat photography.
That's
right?
The one, yeah.
So where are you from?
I'm from a small town outside of a city called Hull in England. Somebody once asked me what's the best thing to come out of Hull, and I said the M62, which is the motorway.
Oh, okay, sure.
We have
all roads lead away from Hull.
Pretty much. We have some things to be proud of. We do have William Wilberforce.
Who's that?
He was the guy that the English version who ended the slavery trade in the UK or he was one of the big proponents of it. So we have something that's.
Should we tear down his statue? No.
Oh, we have some interesting statues in Hull. We've got Queen Victoria over public toilets.
Why? Is that modern art?
No, it's just a big statue of Queen Victoria, and underneath are public toilets.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and we have a statue of William of Orange,
Nice.
which is, if you go to Ireland or Northern Ireland, he's not a very nice figure.
Yeah, the word orange has interesting connotations, like racism.
Yeah, well, I think
Like not l'orange from Europe, but like Orange County or Orange political history.
He was King Billy, we call him, but he was he from Holland? Maybe it was from somewhere in Europe.
Oh, so it is that l'orange origin. Interesting.
Maybe, yeah. And we have a statue of him, and I told one of my friends who was from Northern Ireland, she's like, "Can't believe you got a statue of that guy."
Suck it, commie.
Yeah.
Nah.
So it's an interesting. We once locked. We are Kingston upon Hull is the official title.
So you tied up?
And one day the king rolled up to the town, and we closed the gates on him because we sided with Cromwell.
Oh. Can you go more into the Wilbur Hull guy? Is that who it was? The slavery dude?
Oh, William Wilberforce. Yeah. He was born and raised, I think, to a fairly wealthy family. You can actually visit his home. There's a museum now in Hull. And he became a minister and, represented...
Like a church minister
No,
or
like
a parliament? Okay.
And he worked tirelessly to help end the slave trade for the UK.
From Africa?
Yeah, or from anywhere, I think, but
Okay.
maybe from Africa and things. So that's
Late 1800s, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so that's something actually worth.
Interesting. So what's his reputation like in your hometown?
To be honest,
Mixed sides?
no, I think most people that know of him will be, proud of that aspect of our hometown.
A wee bit chuffed.
Yeah, that's the one. Chuffed to pieces.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's fairly well known, and I think we learned about him in school and things, and but I don't know now how many people know of him. I think as time moves on, these things kind of fade from memory.
Yeah, everything's just racist now. So when did you come to Japan? What did you study? Did you study at university before coming to Japan?
Yeah, I studied chemistry
Interesting.
up in Aberdeen in Scotland.
Oh, okay.
Travelled about a bit. And then in 2010, I moved to China, Beijing, for 3 years, and I arrived in Tokyo in 2013.
Why did you choose Beijing?
Long story short, I had met a girl in Scotland. I was working in a chemistry lab, but it was attached, or we rented space from a local agricultural college, and they had an exchange student in doing her PhD.
Does she have dirty feet? Because she worked at an agricultural college?
No, she sat in an office and
Okay.
did lots of things with numbers that I'd never understood. I did try and help her with it at one stage, but
You know what? Asian math is a thing.
it went over my head.
Yeah.
Actually,
And you're a scientist.
yeah. Actually, as a side story, my wife, completely different lady, who I met here in
But
Japan.
also Chinese,
Also
right?
Chinese.
Yeah.
Hello, Ing. Got to get out of that way. She was
Hi, Sachiko.
trying to one up me, or trying to one up you. I don't know which.
No, I'm not. I'm trying to stay on the same page.
And she was telling me this maths problem that I can't remember even how it was really weird. That if the answer is this, how can you work out the two first values if it's the same number? And it's like that just made no logical sense to me. I couldn't get my brain around it to even understand how to answer it. And her answer was like, I don't get it.
Yeah. So is that just her office job? Is that her office job?
No, this was something she'd learned in school or something she was explaining to me.
Because I used to teach, and when I was a university student studying creative writing, that's my background.
Yeah.
I used to teach Koreans who were on exchange to Canada for a year or two, and the kid that was in grade 6, Canadian math, he had learned in Korea in grade 4.
So they were
So
2
that
years ahead.
means the top student in my class was learning the same math at the age of 12 as these Korean kids were learning at the age of 8. So now imagine if you are in grade 4 and someone skips ahead in math 2 grades.
Oh wow, yeah.
That person's really smart.
Yeah.
Now imagine a whole country doing that.
All right, yeah. my maths is pretty okay, pretty good, but yeah, nothing compared to.
So people go, oh, you can't say Asians are good at math because it's racist. Like, no, it's because of education.
Edu what now?
You got yourself educated on the Matt B Files podcast.
You've been schooled.
WWW. So then you went to why did you leave Beijing? Sorry, can you explain what was Beijing like when you lived there?
I have a love-hate relationship with Beijing. There's parts of it that are amazing that I love and I miss. Like my friends there, the food. Like this time of year, you'd go out just to like the side streets and the restaurants are opened up. The tables are all out in front of the restaurant. They're just serving like meat, barbecued meat on a stick. And you sit down with a cold drink and you eat the meat and you sit with your friends and you stay there till 11, 12 o'clock at night and you just have a really, really nice night. And so things like that I miss, but like dealing day to day with the subway, with the people, with the pushing and the shoving, that wears you down quite a bit. But yeah, I got the opportunity to live there, and I never ever thought about living in China. It was never on my radar. It was always Japan I was fascinated with.
So, but you went to China because of
a girl.
Because of a girl.
And after 6 months, we'd actually end it.
That happens a lot.
Yeah, but I found I was actually enjoying my time there. It was the first time I was teaching. I was teaching young kids, and I remember family back home saying, "Oh yeah, he must be ready to come home now." And my mum turned around and said, "He's still got 6 months left on his work contract. He's having fun. Yes, his relationship ended, which is a bit sad, but why would he come home when he's still got commitments there?"
To Hull.
Yeah. To dull. You probably guessed by now, I'm not a big fan of my hometown.
Well, is it Northern England?
Yeah, northeast.
Yeah, Northern scum. A lot of people who leave Northern England for Asia, I don't think really go back. I know a lot of the British guys I know that stay in, the Britons that stay in Tokyo long term, a high percentage of them are actually from the north.
From up north.
From up north, yeah. But like borderline with Scotland, you know, like, yeah. They're just like, don't want to go back to Donny, mate, you know?
Oh, Doncaster, yeah. Yes, I did travel home once, last summer actually.
I'm going to try to angle this camera a bit.
And that was because my then fiance, now wife, wanted to go back and see where I'd grown up, and actually she loved it there.
I bet you she would. To her, it's like a totally crazy ass place.
Yeah, it's in the same way as we find it here. It's like,
Yeah.
it's just
Look at this manhole cover. Can you believe this crazy manhole cover?
things like that.
Yeah.
She said the best thing. She said, "Why do people get down on English food? It's so tasty." I'm like, I think you're the first person in history that's ever said that.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I must admit, I do actually miss English food.
Like roast.
Yeah,
And
She loves
carvings.
Gravy she goes mad for.
Yorkshire pudding.
Yorkshire puddings. Actually, I make a mean Yorkshire pudding. I'm quite proud of mine. But I am a Yorkshire man, so you know.
What's Yorkshire?
It's the county. There's 3 counties: north, east, and west. It's the 3 ridings of Yorkshire. It's a bit like saying Cheever Ken or Saitama Ken.
Oh, okay. Sure.
And yeah, Yorkshire folk tend to be fairly proud of being Yorkshire, and I guess I am one of those as well. It's yeah. Actually, the people there are actually pretty nice. We went back to visit, and we was queuing up for the bus, and there was this little old lady. And she said, "Well, we were first, and then it was this lovely young couple here," and she was just organising the bus queue.
That's funny. That's true, eh?
But you won't get it anywhere else in the world, really.
Brits love queues.
Oh, we do, yeah. It actively frustrates me when people don't queue properly.
You get like OCD.
Yeah, it really, like...
The fork goes on the right side of the plate.
Yes.
I get that way with punctuation, boringly enough.
Yeah, my punctuation's pretty terrible. You better not read anything I write then. But yeah, you get to like the Marunouchi line here, and there's like 3 spaces, but the middle space I think is supposed to be for people getting off. And there's 2 lines, and somebody walks down the middle and parks themselves in front of that one. I was like, queue.
It depends on the station.
Yeah.
But I get your point. And then you came to, so you said, fuck off Beijing. And how did you get into Tokyo from Beijing?
Well, I came for a visit, ironically, about 2 weeks before the big earthquake in 2011.
That was a big one.
I came in February. I came to Tokyo, and as I was leaving, I'm like, I want to come back to this place. And like a couple of years later, I did my CELTA certificate for teaching English.
A bit closer to your face.
Okay. And
CELTA certificate.
So I did my CELTA, and then about 6 months later, I just started looking for work here. I found a job, which the company that shall remain nameless, but don't work for them.
Major Kiowa joint? Yeah. It's a good way to get in.
Yeah.
And then if you want to stay, bounce off of that.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, then I found a job teaching in kindergartens, which I love to pieces. It's so much fun. The kids are just vibrant and exuberant and happy to see you.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
Very
noticed that
different.
about kids. Yeah, adults can, everybody has a different day when you're an adult.
Yeah.
And every adult is quite individual in their needs.
It's 9
And,
o'clock at night, and some business guy in a suit, smelling of cigarettes, walks into your thing, and it's like, I don't want to be here. You don't want to be here. It's 9 o'clock at night. We're trying to get through English for the next 40 minutes. I don't miss that bit.
I'm an in-house teacher, so I work at an actual tech company. It's not a school.
Yeah.
So I'm 9 to 5. I get everybody when they're fresh.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And nobody tells me what to do. It's not bad. It's all things. It's great. But and then so you came to Japan in 2013.
Yeah.
And how long was it after you came to Japan that you started getting into the music scene and offbeat photography and
music
things
scene?
like
It was a
that?
couple of months because I was like solo singer songwriter as my original musical backing,
That's right.
and I played open mics in Beijing. And I don't know I don't know about you, but when you're not played on stage for a while, you start getting itchy fingers.
Yeah, or a horrible feeling of failure, or a giving upness, or
Something like that.
yeah, it's a terrible scratch. I play live with Dead Sea Dropouts enough, but I'm trying to do the jam cast, but that's the same thing. If I was trying to record more songs this year, and I haven't recorded a single one, and it's just like there's this burning. It's like something is burning on the stove, and you're just kind of looking at it, and it's just burning all day, every day.
Yeah. And so after a while, I was itching out, and I found you've come across Tom Molesky.
Yeah. I always say Molensky, unfortunately. Sorry, Tom.
Sorry, Tom.
I like the guy a lot. He's a
awesome.
stand-up guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
And he posted on Meetup about this event at Lifehouse Anger in Chiba.
Okay, I see.
And
Interesting. He was like a networker for a while. Okay, I see.
it was at Long Live Rock. And it's on a Thursday night. It's like the 3rd Thursday of the month or something, if I remember correctly. And I went down in April, May time. I've been here about 3 months or so. Maybe it was June time. And I went to this event, and there's live music.
Late June or early June? Anyways.
Years ago, I can't remember. And I got talking to some people. I'm like, do you know of any open mics? And this guy turned around and said, look, you speak to this lady here.
Lady?
A lady called Chizuzu. And she owned
a cool name.
It's very cool. I've never found out whether it's Chisuzu or Chizuzu.
Or Chizuzu.
Yeah. But I just say it quickly and hope nobody notices. But she's a fantastic lady. She used to drum, she's an amazing drummer.
Oh, really?
And she used to drum for a fairly famous Japanese band whose name I forget. And so she's, oh yeah, I own this bar on the corner called Toppers. And I went round because I used to have a jam on a Sunday night.
Yeah.
And she gave me my first show at Toppers for like their 4th anniversary.
Toppers in Chiba.
Yeah.
Okay. Were you living in Chiba at the time?
I was living in Ichikawa City.
Okay.
Which I still am,
Saitama,
actually.
Oh, really?
It's still Chiba Prefecture, but
okay.
And yeah, and then I just got more and more shows, and I got to play at Lifehouse Anger, which is like my favorite venue in the area.
Yeah, I really want to go up there and play. It sounds so cool.
The sound engineers are awesome. The lighting is fantastic. As a photographer, which I got into a year or so later, it's just an amazing venue because the lights are always changing, and taking photographs there is always pretty cool.
So you weren't into photography in Beijing?
No,
this is a Tokyo thing.
It's a Tokyo thing, yeah. And I was playing the shows there, and I found this camera online, and one of my friends knew a lot about cameras. Like, oh, what do you think to this one? And she said, if you're willing to spend the same money but go secondhand, it's the route to go. You can go a few levels
Japanese secondhand quality is
all my bodies and all my lenses are all secondhand.
And there's probably not a scratch or a nick on them. Or if
there is now.
There is now.
There wasn't when I bought them.
Yeah. I think it has to do with Asian math.
They're just precise, and they're so careful with what I mean.
Yeah, they're conscientious.
On them, yeah.
Right? Japanese society, everything is, you be very careful, and it goes here, and you take good care of it. And
I got this camera, and I sort of fell in love with it, and then I thought I'd buy this one camera and this one lens. And then after that, it's a bit expensive, but the only expense I ever need to do now is trains to go places. Well, that was a lie. Because you just want this bit of equipment. And you just want that bit of equipment.
I feel the same way with the pod. I've started collecting microphones I barely even use. I spent like $500 on a microphone. I've used it like twice. But I'm really happy I have it, let me tell you. And I'm going to get more.
Yeah.
These microphones are not bad.
Oh, these are fantastic. I'm going to have to get
These are not that expensive. This is about $250 or Nihon Gosei. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I use them for almost everything. This is a powerhouse.
Yeah, I've got a little condenser mic. It was about 6,000 yen, and it's a step above anything else. But I can start feeling it's on the limits of what I want from it now.
Yeah,
cheap materials are good to start off with, but
you
very quickly, if you practice and skill up, you very quickly burn through them.
Yeah, and oddly enough, with the podcast is the amount of interest I've had in just gearing up. Because I was always an acoustic performer, and you don't really need a lot of gear as an acoustic musician.
I have a guitar. You have a microphone. All right, no worries.
Yeah, ijo desu.
Yeah.
But with this kind of gear that connects one thing to another thing, you kind of get these crazy ideas.
Yeah. I've now got, a few months ago, my wife bought me a little USB interface, so it's got 2 mic input, and you can do the sound. You got headphones out, and if you're just recording, if you got the video that you're editing and you just want to put a voice over it, it just adds so much because you've got so much control through the headphones.
Yeah,
that you can really balance it out, and it makes a difference.
I bought this going into Gear Talk. I bought a battery powered headphone amplifier.
Oh wow!
It's an ion charge, and you just plug in, and then you can do a headphone splitter out.
Oh wow!
And then you can manually, and you don't need a power source for it because it's got 9 hours of battery life or something like that, and it's like $40. The amount of the entry to technology these days is crazy.
Yeah, but then again, if you want to go for the high stuff, it's still
super high.
Super high, yeah.
But the mid range stuff is really insane, and it's leading to a kind of a dilemma of the future because technology is creating value, but the technology is also replacing jobs. So we used to access technology through work, but the value is being made more and more and more, but the access to the value is being choked off in so many ways due to jobs being lost to technology.
Even as simple as you used to go and you watch your high quality HBO program. And now somebody's picked up their iPhone 10. And yes, it's quite clear that it's not the same quality, but it's quality that's good enough to really enjoy and watch.
Yeah, it's
and
enough.
somebody spent 2 weeks making something at, 100th of the budget. So now HBO is scratching their heads going, well, I can't afford to pay this person now.
And these people that do adopt this new technology, they don't need to move to a mecca
No.
of acting and technology and directors. You can just get and you have radio frequencies, which means you can upload directly and publish as much as you want. It's really crazy. And it's only getting more and more like that.
Yeah.
The access to creativity is expanding exponentially, but the future of work is also getting, which is fuck work, I guess, but whatever. If everything's just
utopian
free
society,
everywhere.
maybe not.
So, so you wanted to get on the podcast.
Yeah.
So thank you for coming. Yeah. You wanted to talk about some things.
Yeah.
So what's up? What's going on?
Well, basically, speaking mainly the photography thing, Offbeat Photography Tokyo, I've been running like a show in Infinity Books in Asakusa, which is a fantastic venue because the backdrop is all books and then there's people playing music, which is great. So I invite a single musician on for the evening. They do 2 sets of music, and in the middle I sit down, and much like this, we have an interview. I'll talk to them about their music, their influences, anything else they've got to discuss. Like I had Mickey on in June, and
Mickey Acorn,
and was discussing his Dear Lucy, which was an amazing event. And you had him on the podcast as well.
Yeah. 3 episodes ago or so. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's things like that where you can there's to talk about, like their
Is this an event that you started organizing yourself?
Sort of. I used to do it as a pre-recorded episode. I had bands like the Watanabes, I had Grant Rolls, Martin LaRue, come and do them with me. I used to sit in a park and record them, and then would sit and do an interview that way. But Katie Kaczynski was running an event called The Bridge at Infinity Books, but she had to move back she was planning to move back to the States. She's like, I can't run it anymore.
With her Swedish immigrant.
Yes.
Swedish refugee.
Her fiance, I think, is the technical term.
Oh, well, geez.
And she was like, well, I want to hand it off to somebody. And when you're thinking, well, it's almost identical to what I was doing pre-recorded. But do I want to take the risk? Do I want to jump into it? And in the end, I talked myself into it. It's like, no, it'll be fine. Get acts in. I record the first slot they do. Take 3 songs from that to put into between the interview. And then the interview, we sit down and talk, and I open it up. If there's an audience there, I'll get them to ask questions to the artists as well, which it's quite a lot of fun. And then the questions I will. My questions are fairly standard, but then again, somebody from the audience will have...
What is your name?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's my first question. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, that's what I do too.
And then, but the audience will come in and they will ask something. They picked up on one small thing that you said earlier on in the interview, and then there's this whole conversation that starts. So I'm on to my 6th show, which is coming up actually this Saturday, August the 4th.
Okay, this will be up by then.
Cool.
Just barely.
And it's
August the 4th, Infinity Books.
Yeah.
And this is in, not Akasaka.
Asakusa.
Asakusa.
Yeah.
People sometimes get that mixed up. So, Asakusa. It's the place with the big Akachochin, sky tree. Yeah, sure.
And this month, it's a bit special because there's an artist that's brand new to the Tokyo scene.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna butcher her name. I apologize.
Good. They butcher our names all the time.
Her name.
My name is Noto Monsieur. Yeah.
It's an American lady.
Well, take that.
Her name is Katie Waxek, and she's originally from San Diego. I keep wanting to say San Jose, but that's nowhere near. And
yeah, I guess.
Is it?
It's California.
Okay, fair enough.
It's a San in California.
My American geography kind of sucks. But she plays in a band.
San Diego, I think, is further south. and San Jose is kind of closer to Virginia.
Oh, okay. That doesn't help me at all.
Oh, really? Okay.
But hopefully it'll help some people.
Sure, it should make sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes sense to people from America, I hope. And she's just moved across here, I think maybe, she said just a month or so.
She young?
Yeah, I think she's...
She pretty?
Yeah, believe so.
Good. Better say yes.
Yes.
And
yeah.
what does she look like?
Blonde hair,
Blonde hair. Good.
like a woman.
Even better.
I've not actually met her yet, but we've been speaking on the internet, and she's let me...
Going by her chats,
Yeah.
paint a visual. No,
she's very approachable. She's friendly. She's the questions she was asking about the event were, what's the venue like? What equipment is there? So she knows what she's looking for, and so
that's interesting.
And
So
she's got pedals and things that she wants to incorporate. So she's prepared. She knows what's going on. So that was
yeah. California has that interesting mix of kind of folk but technology at the same time.
yeah.
I found that a lot of people from California know what's up.
Yeah.
A lot of stupid people from California too, but not this lady. I
No,
don't mean to shit all over her. But
Oh no,
She's-
it's all going wrong.
I know. Sorry. What can I say?
But yeah, she sent me one of her tracks called Deja Vu.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I can play it if you want to send it.
Well, yes, she did. I did actually speak to her. She said, to pass it along to you as well. So,
Sure.
and it went past the first 8 bars, and I was just hooked. So I'm really looking forward to this one because
You got a copy?
yeah.
So, is it because we don't need to play it actually? Is it sometimes Kate Beck plays in town as well?
Actually, Kate Beck was my last act from July.
I saw that. She's a great songwriter. Actually, she's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
So, how would this? So, Kate Beck, I would usually say her songs are very summery.
Yeah.
Very dreamy in a way, lucid in a way. It's not like attacking. It's
No.
not very percussive
I think
and
it's
melodic.
a similar vibe to that from the songs I was listening to. So
And Kate Beck also uses some types of pedals
Yeah.
to like do some repeats.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's kind of cool when she's not playing guitar, but you see it, and then she starts singing. It's kinda cool.
the first song on the video went up live a few days ago, and the first song she played was a song called Ghosts, and it starts off with a ba-bum, ba-ch, ba-ba. Then she tapped out on the drum, on the guitar as a drum, and then she started singing, and obviously her voice is fantastic, and it carries through this drum, and it's just this eerie song about being at home, and her boyfriend's obviously left, but she's still there in love with his ghost, and and then the guitar sort of comes in, and she's really well crafted, that
Yes,
song.
the craft is great. Yeah.
And obviously spent time.
Girls can sing about that. Guys can't really like. If I was like, "Oh, my girl, I'm so lonely," like it doesn't really work for dudes,
No,
for the most part. Like,
yeah, shut up, you creep.
yeah, it's like, ugh. But when women do it, it's like, oh, it sounds amazing. Yeah, it's just generally. I'm sure people will be like, no.
I think
But
there's a way to do it. I think if you did it exactly the same way, it just sounds like you're moping, and whereas hers was really ethereal. If I were to do it,
Sure.
it would just sound like I was just moping around the home,
Yeah.
not really doing anything. But there's probably a way for a man to sing about missing somebody and being at home.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can.
You usually have to like kind of be a cowboy about it. It's like the reins of
Yeah.
the horse and the mane of my horse with the
sat in my
mountains
truck
of
and-
the the sunset
Yeah.
are no match for you.
Exactly.
Something like
Yeah.
that. There we go.
Oh, it's quite sweet. But yeah, it's
So how? So you. This is strange because I'm not sure if this must have something to do with the social media algorithms, because sometimes I'm aware of the invites to these events you get, but I'm not so aware of the actual publication and the interviews. I had no idea that you were publishing interviews with songs and cutting all this together. I've never received a notification or a link or anything like it. I'm not blaming you.
No,
I'm blaming the social medias.
Because I post it on. Oh, of course, because Facebook doesn't really like sharing links from YouTube because they're not the same company.
So it's a conflict of interest. Because I receive your invites, and sometimes I see like your photos and things like that, but I've never seen like Andrew Holtby has posted up the show or something like that.
Because I post them. I put it across the Twitters, across Instagram, across Facebook.
I should follow you on Twitter then. Yeah.
At OBP Tokyo.
Offbeat Photography. OBP Tokyo.
Yeah.
I should check it out. It sounds really interesting.
Yeah, and actually the last video came out. I'm quite happy with it. I'm very happy with it, and just mixing. It's the editing process which I've been really enjoying, and just going through and just taking your time and taking the audio into a different program and sitting with your headphones and just getting the EQ out. And
EQ is pretty fun, actually. I'm finally getting used to it. I was using, up until about 2 months ago, a PC, an all-in-one from 2013 with Audacity. And I just last month bought a MacBook Pro, 16 gigabyte RAM. And this puppy moves.
I've got an iMac.
And with dealing with EQ, just like the changes and even the output quality and how seamless the Mac programs work together. Like, I was never a Mac guy before, but I just did some research because I was just doing this fucking podcast so much. I was like, working with PCs is just wasting too much of my time. So I just fucking threw down some money, MacBook Pro. I fucking love that piece of shit.
I've got the iMac, the standard one from last year, and I do the thing you shouldn't do. I run all the Adobe suite off it, which is a bit slower than using the Mac software, but it's what I'm used to, so I'm sticking with it. And Audition works really well for tweaking audio, and then I use Premiere Pro for the video. Although I did treat myself to Logic Pro.
Yeah, I got Logic as well.
Which is...
I'm still on GarageBand. It tends to be good enough, but Logic,
it's just a rabbit hole that I went down.
It's crazy.
And I've got one of them little mini USB keyboards and MIDI controllers, and it's just the amount of different things. It's like, oh, that instrument's quite nice. And then by the time I finished, I've got this song that I've produced, which has got far too many instruments to be good. I went a bit overboard.
Yeah.
Delete that one.
Like some high guy in the basement. Like, you just smoke too many joints. And it's like you wake up in the morning, and I've never done that. What else? So how do you do this once a month?
Once a month, first Saturday of every month.
And the bookstore isn't so big. So I guess if you get like 20 people, that's pretty much packish.
Oh, Katie did Jimmy Binks, and they got about 30 people in there.
Okay.
30 was just on the verge of uncomfortable, but that was a hell of a night. It was one of their last shows. And
do they sell beer and drinks there?
Yeah, they've got beer, drinks, and then you can peruse books in between the sets or just talk to the artist.
They got a good English section, or what?
It's all English books.
It's all English books.
It's the last English bookstore in Tokyo.
Yeah. I get most of my books off of Amazon, to be honest.
I think he sells most of his off Amazon as well. But yeah, we've had a good lineup so far. The first one I did was back in March, and that was Ian Grono. And then we had April's was Mana. That was an interview. I love Mana.
I just got a message from Mana. Hey, Mana, how's it going?
Hey.
She's always in the ups and downs, I think. I think she's always been that way. And Mana's wonderful. And gotta love Mana. And was she doing all right?
Yeah.
A little bit concerned.
Oh, she seems to be all right.
She's had some I won't get into it, but like a little medical thing, off and on medical thing.
I think she's got a lot better with that one now. But yeah, it was a fun interview. I love working with Mana because you never know what she's going to say next.
Oh, I love it too. Oh, and yeah, she gets dirty as well. It's like, whoa, dirty talk suddenly.
Yep.
All right, yeah.
And then May we had Robert Tyrell Wilson, who is just an incredible guitar player.
Yeah,
And
he's
an
got
incredible
chops.
vocalist.
Yeah,
And his lyrics are well crafted and
he's able to do that that type of longer song without sounding like a pussy.
Yeah.
To put it in those types of terms, like I feel like I'm listening to a real man.
Yeah.
But not a guy who's just trying to hammer nails like with blues songs, you know. He's really good at crafting the song, and his use of percussive on the percussive stroking on the guitar is actually really interesting.
His dynamics are fantastic between him, his vocals, and his guitar.
And it really matches for the Infinity Book kind of session. I've seen him play at what's that event in Roppongi? Sorry, that cafe.
Oh, this and that, yeah.
This and that. He played really well, but there's so many people and so many things going on. Like he sounded good. I listened to him, but he did fade into the background a bit.
Yeah.
I've noticed that with some people.
The big bands stand out in that one. I watched Jimmy Binks there, and they brought everybody in, but
I saw Entrada there, and they were just a little bit too loud. Like it's a weird venue, you know, because you can just be because it's not a rock venue. It's like a art.
That was the
art show
launch, yeah.
Huh?
Watanabe's CD launch. They did one of those, yeah.
I think so.
Entrada, Jimmy Binks, Watanabe's.
That's right.
Yeah. I think Kate Beck opened that one.
Kate Beck opened that one. Yeah.
The odd things I remember. And then obviously we had Mickey after that in June, then Kate Beck. In August, we've got Katie Waxek. September, we've got a guy called Brian Smith, who, if you haven't come across, he's a character. His songs are, like, his lyrics are just on the edge, but he does it so well, it's sort of tongue-in-cheek. Then we've got October, Parallel
Tongue and butt cheek.
That as well. October, we've got Parallel Lives, which is
Sanai and Dave.
Yep.
Nice couple.
Oh, yeah. And then November, I've got an interesting one. I've got a Malaysian group coming in to visit.
You're planning 6 months ahead?
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I'm taking no prisoners with this one. They're called NJWA. And they're usually a bit heavier, but they're going to play...
Do you know why they're coming in from Malaysia?
They're just doing they're a Tokyo tour. Okay. Organized by April.
April, she brings in bands.
Yeah.
She helps out with the podcast too.
Oh, yeah.
Even though we have varied, disagreeable debates on social media.
Yeah.
But she's great, actually.
Yeah.
She's a dear. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she does quite a lot for the local scene.
That sounded probably patronizing. But I mean to say, she approaches discourse with civility.
Yeah. So yeah, she's brought this act in for me, and I'm looking forward to getting somebody from outside of Japan, because the questions then open up, you know, comparing the two different scenes and you know, what they're enjoying about Tokyo, what they miss from back home, and things like that. So I'm looking forward to that one, just because it's going to be so different. So
yeah, I want to do a podcast about Malaysia. It's like the country that makes no sense.
Oh yeah. I'm actually visiting there in a couple of less than a week.
Oh wow!
Yeah, my wife actually used to live there. She's lived in Malaysia and Singapore, and this summer we're going to Malaysia. We're spending a couple of days on a tropical island, which is going to be fun.
Ooh!
And she says that the food there though is apparently amazing. So I'm looking forward to that. And then we're hitting up Singapore and then Hong Kong on the way back to Tokyo. So that's my summer plans.
Yeah, Malaysia. It's like there's so many different cultures there.
Yeah.
And they speak English, but it's like British English. Do you know the band Kyoto Protocol?
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard of them. Yeah.
It's like a half Australian, Asian, and they got like Indonesian and Arab
Wow.
backgrounds, but they all speak fluent, natural English in a place called Malaysia. And the map of Malaysia makes no sense either.
on two
It's like,
separate islands.
yeah,
It's
one's a
Borneo, Malaysia,
peninsula, and then, it's a strange.
yeah, well, I'm looking forward to.
Oh, I think that camera cut out.
Oh,
It's all right.
too bad.
Yeah,
You're just going to miss out on that angle.
yeah.
So I'm looking forward to having just something very different on the show, and hopefully that will bring out a few people to see something different, like this one in August. That's a brand new artist. So those people that listen to the podcast that are maybe looking to organize a show, this could be a good one to get down to find new blood. 'Cause I love the Tokyo scene, but we're fairly close knit. So bringing in new blood,
Yeah, it's a good idea.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, one of the reasons largely I don't play so much anymore is if you play a lot, it gets repetitive
Yeah.
pretty quickly.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's fine. That's what it is. So, what are you older than 33 but younger than 40?
Yes.
So, what inspires you? Inspiration is for the young, but for the old, it's something to look for in many ways.
Yeah.
Not the old, but getting as we age.
Yeah.
I've seen that beautiful sunset before. Just go jerk off.
I don't know. I guess like improving it, or improving myself, or improving. So I've done 5 shows now. It's like making the 6th one better. I think that inspires me to just push myself.
Does it inspire you, or does it replace inspiration?
Ooh. Oh, that's a deep philosophical question for a Tuesday night there. I get, could be both, I guess. I don't. Does that make sense? Yeah, I mean, there for the photography and video side of things, there are people like Kai Man Wong, who's a vlogger, photographer, who's from Hong Kong, from UK, but was in Hong Kong now, back in the UK, and a guy called Locke, who used to be his business partner. They worked for a company called Digital Rev, and they'd put a lot of videos. And there's an Australian photographer called oh, I've met him. I forgot his name.
Wally Bag Wilkin Wallingbrung.
Oh no, that Nikon guy. I forget his name now. Oh no, that's
You know, the thing about Australian English
Yeah.
is that in regular English we have the vowels. A, E, I, O, U.
Uh-huh.
But in Australian it's just I.
Aye.
I.
I love the Australian accent because I love how everything's a question and everything's answered. What's your favourite colour, Blue? What's your name, Skip?
Right.
Oh dear. No, I love.
What's your favorite color?
Could I? But yeah, that these guys inspire my photography a lot because I watch their videos a lot on YouTube, and I guess and then the question comes: am I emulating them or copying them, or am I taking them as inspiration and doing my own thing? That's another conversation.
Okay. That makes sense.
But those guys inspire my photography.
So is it inspirational or is it motivational? Because they've I've
probably more inspirational because I don't produce as
Inspirational.
much videos as perhaps I'd like. So it's not as quite as motivational as perhaps I would like either.
That's another one. These people that just somehow produce like 20 videos and they never
Yeah.
stop. It's like I sometimes go like, oh, I should be making more podcasts like Joe Rogan and make 3 or 4 a week, and they should all be 3 hours long. I'm like,
Yeah.
that sounds like I would just get really burnt out.
Yeah.
And I don't really feel the need. Like, I kind of like having 1 a week. That's enough.
Yeah.
It's enough.
Well, to put it into context, I have a video that I've been making. Well, I say making. When I was in the UK last summer, I did loads of video, and I've not even edited any of it yet I started the video not long after I got back from the UK. So that's my level of motivation for you there.
What about personal deadlines? Do you impose deadlines?
I do, and then I completely ignore them. I'm not very consistent with myself.
Because I pose for the podcast just 1 week. Sometimes sometimes it's a rant if I can't get a guest or if I have something that I'm waiting on. But just one a week.
Oh,
it's a
things
self-imposed.
like limits. Yeah, limits I'll place on myself because obviously it's like balancing out with finishing work at 6 o'clock and then it's an hour and a half to get home from work, and then it's have a shower and have your evening meal, and then I can edit a video or I can spend some time with my wife. And if I spend too much time editing videos, my wife gets upset. And if I spend too much time with my wife, I get upset with myself for not editing the videos.
That's a big problem with I was involved in some social media controversies recently, and my wife was like, you spent too much time arguing with those people and we could have enjoyed a weekend together. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? That's a really good point, and it's time to start doing that more often.
Have you ever followed a webcomic called XKCD?
No.
It's hilarious.
Go into it.
Draw stick figures. It's like stick figures. This guy, and one of his comics was there's a guy sat at a computer and the speech bubble comes off screen. It's like, "Come to bed now," and the guy sat at the computer. I can't. Somebody is wrong on the internet.
Yeah. It's true. It's weird how it gets to you as well after a while. And what about the idea that, for example, we had cable TV, and then we had satellite TV, we had radio, then we had satellite radio, things. Yeah. Do you ever feel like there's just so much media out there? Like, do you ever get discouraged that whatever you're gonna do, somebody will probably replicate it, like in the world of infinities? Like,
it's more the other way around. It's like I've got 27 subscribers. 27. I'm happy that I'm amazed that I've got 27, but it's a drop.
Me too.
In not necessarily a drop in the ocean. It's probably a drop in the universe. When there's people with millions of subscribers and I've got 27. Yeah. That's kind of the tough part of it. It's like, well, yes, I came into the game a lot later and, I keep trying to push myself and keep motivated, and then your video gets 12 views and you're like, oh, it's one more than last time.
Sure. Yeah, I feel the same way, actually. And I think it's a valid question as well. And sometimes I wonder, is all of this equipment being made to be so cheap so that we do these things? Because all of our jobs are being replaced anyways? Is this like the initial transition of a society into a society of reasonably well-paid, semi-professional amateur hobbyists?
It keeps them busy, then they don't look at what we're doing behind that door there.
That's right. Don't look over here. Look, there's a cheap microphone. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
Look, selfie.
Selfie time.
Yeah.
What happened with the audio there?
Oh, there we go.
There we
It's
are.
back
Strange. So what's the final message here, man, as we wrap up today's podcast?
Subscribe.
Subscribe. Where you mentioned your Twitter handle? Can people? You have a YouTube channel as well?
Yeah. Again, as you said, they use Google, just Offbeat Photography Tokyo, and the first link that comes up is from YouTube. And I did have a homepage, but I've not really used that one so much. I need to invest in, is it Squarespace?
Yeah, that's what I'm using.
And I keep trying.
Cool.
I keep trying the free trial, and I just look at all the options, and I go, I don't know what to do. But
I just simplify.
It's probably the best way, especially with photos. The photos are supposed to speak for themselves, so they just need to stand out on a simple background, and they do the talking. Whereas if you make the thing fancy, people are like, "Oh, what are you compensating for there?"
That's true. Yeah, you want just a very basic interactive
Yeah.
screen. Some of the most popular websites in the world are just like Drudge Report, just
Yeah.
a list of links every day, and it's super easy to
What
navigate.
Reddit is, isn't it, basically?
Reddit as well. Reddit's a bit confusing.
But I guess, that these shows I'm really, really proud of, really happy of. They've been really interesting. And if you're maybe starting out yourself in music, or you've been sat looking at your lyrics for 2 months going, I don't know where to take these, just listening to other people play music and listening to people talk about it is some way, like, actually I've had 2 or 3 of my own song ideas just as I've been doing the video, or I've been editing the video, and that this lyric keeps going around. It's like ping, light bulb. And so yeah, getting to events like these are a good way to, and also if you just enjoy music and you just want to listen to that one person, because you get 3 or 4 or 5 artists a night, whereas this one it's just one artist. It's their night, it's their show, and they're fascinating events. And I've asked the same question almost to all the artists, and the answers that come back are always different. It's like, well, where do you start with music? Is it lyrics? Is it the melody? Is it the guitar? And everybody's got a different approach. And, if you come down and listen to something like that, then you might think, oh, I've been forcing myself to do it this way. Well, maybe I give their idea a go. And maybe it works for you, maybe it doesn't, but,
Yeah. That's good, because that could even be applied to people who are also banging their heads against the wall for other creative problems, or even scientific ones. Or
Well, I know a lot of musicians who swear by writing new songs on an instrument that isn't their main one, because it gives them that different approach to it.
They're not locked in. They can they're free to explore.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you're getting to the point where you're locked into patterns and theories, you're like worried to break the rules or something like that.
But if you play a game that you don't know the rules to, then what does it matter?
Yeah, exactly.
And then you look back at your other stuff and go, oh.
Like playing soccer with a blanket.
How would that work?
I don't know. That's you'd find a new way to do it. That's the
Yeah.
whole point.
Roll it up.
Roll it up. I don't know.
Put it around his cape.
Just roll into it. There's a million ways you could cross that field.
Oh, indeed, yeah. Well, yeah. But yeah, it's a good approach, is to do something outside of what you're doing. Einstein used to go take jobs in like post office and things when he got stuck on problems, because just that menial work let his mind wander. So, try something new.
There was a genius, an inventor, and he would only have epiphanies when he would shave. But he would always cut himself when he shaved. So he was living in fear, but also knowing that he would have to shave to get ideas.
The next scratch could be the big one.
He would, oh my God, and cut his face up. I don't know if that's true, but an English professor I had in university told me that. And I thought, there's people out there like that for sure.
Oh, yeah. And later on, he forgets what happened. He looks one in the mirror and goes, "That was it."
That was it. It's encoded in the mark. All right.
Yeah.
All right, Andrew Holtby, good man.
Thank you very much for having me on.
Yeah, welcome back anytime.
Oh, I'll take you up on that one.
Peace.
Bye now.
This beer is really weird. What? This is beer. This beer is really weird. It's like just weird.